All right, what's up, boys and girls? It's your pal right here, Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders, and you are checking out an all new Impact Showdown coming at you for July 3rd, 2014. Man, feels good to be back doing this with you guys. We haven't done an Impact Showdown in like almost 3 weeks. I know two of those weeks was excusable, as one week we actually had gave you guys enough heads up. We told you we were going to be covering the appearance of Mick Foley at the DC Improv Comedy and Restaurant Club. And then the week after that, the cable internet was actually down over here because some knucklehead technicians had cut the wrong wire, or they cut our service by accident, as there was some development or construction that was going on inside of our house. And long story short, we had to give those guys a call, telling them to come back out here and fix the problem that they made to begin with. So, yeah, it's been almost 3 weeks since we've done a new Impact Showdown for you guys. But, hey, it's great to be back on here talking Fallout from TNA Wrestling. I definitely want to get you guys involved. You can interact with me a number of ways. For starters, post those comments down below, or hit me up on Twitter at the RCWR Show, Facebook at Infinity One Productions. This episode is being sponsored in part by, we got a double dose tonight. Our first sponsor is Audible.com, where if you use our URL, audibletrial.com/the RCWR Show, you can get yourself a free Audible book, and you can get yourself 1 month of the service for free. So whether you're into checking out some great wrestling stuff, sci-fi, romance, whatever your cup of tea is, man, Audible has like over 150,000 titles to choose from. The best thing I like about Audible, I mean, who has time to really kick back and read a book? You know, especially like if you have to go to school or you got to go to work. A lot of us, we rely very heavily on our eyesight during the daytime at our jobs. So last thing you're trying to do in between all that, maybe on your way home, whatever, is have your face be crammed in a book. That's the cool thing about audible.com. Think of it as like one big long podcast, and a fun podcast at that. You know, that's the best way I can describe it to you guys. So check them out. It's through Amazon, so definitely you can trust it. You got nothing to lose. Use our URL, test it out. Worst case scenario, if you don't like it, at least you didn't put any money out there. Use our URL, audibletrial.com/the RCWR Show. Get yourself one free Audible book and 1 month of the service for free. Also, our other sponsor tonight is 01 Pro Wrestling. Hey, you guys that kick back every single week, you watch wrestling, you're probably saying to yourselves, man, I would like to do something like that. I want to get in there. I think I got what it takes to be a wrestler. Well, you're definitely going to need some training, whether it's trying to become a wrestler, a manager, a valet. You got to have some training. And my good friends over at 01 Pro Wrestling can help you out with that. They got a great training facility down in Florida. Go check them out. You can hit them up on Facebook at facebook.com/the Pro Wrestling School. Hit them up. Let them know Lee Sanders of the RCWR Show had sent you, and they'll hook you up, all right? So this is going to be a very short episode tonight. And I know usually when I say that, some of you are probably snickering and going, we're going to get the usual. No, no, no. This is actually going to be a very short show because, honestly, I'm a little fatigued. Work's been kind of kicking my butt a little bit. And in between remixing shows and all that, I've just gotten to a point where I'm just kind of like, ugh, you know. So we're actually going to do a very short show tonight. I'm going to try to see if maybe we can wrap this up in 30 minutes or less. That's the goal. So the goal is to be off the air by 11:37. We'll see what we can do. As far as TNA headlines go, there really hasn't been that much that's been happening. If anything, what's really spreading like wildfire right now are like the TNA spoilers, like all the way up until like August 15th, like mid-August. It's ridiculous, the spoilers that's out there right now. And I'm not going to spoil some of the stuff that's going to be coming up for you guys. But what I can tell you is that the New York City tapings, and I think this is a good way to kind of get the ball rolling and get you guys comments on this, but it looks like a lot of praise has been given for the Impact Wrestling shows in New York City. And it's unfortunate
Now, don't jump on me just yet. I'm saying unfortunate because we aren't going to be seeing this for like almost another month. So, like, if you guys been doing a really good job staying clear of all the news that's been coming about from these batch of episodes that's coming, mad shout out to you. Mad shout out to you. I unfortunately, it's very hard for me to like dodge the spoilers. I only know certain things like about who's back with the company full time, but I don't know like all the whole show results, and that's good. I'm trying to stay clear of it, but I tell you, man, it really hurts the TNA product, I feel, because it's like, especially from what I've been hearing of the tapings, I mean, it's been really, really good TV. I mean, a lot of the people that I spoke with that went to the shows, they had a fantastic time. And these were paying customers, I might add. But it's just so unfortunate that it's not going to be coming about for another month, man, because by the time we get to see it, some of that high is going to be kind of off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That buzz isn't really going to be there anymore. It just really makes me want to solidify the fact that, in my mind, it solidifies the fact that spoilers is bad. And I just wish that TNA Wrestling would maybe do the right thing and they would say to all wrestling websites, look, if you want to continue to have some type of a healthy relationship with us, under no circumstances, do not post spoilers of our shows. If you want to have an interview with us, you want to get some type of exclusive pieces of news. Now, granted, that's not going to stop some fan from probably going on their own respected website, like KevinCal.com. I'm just freestyling here. And Kevin Cal talks nothing but wrestling, and maybe he had got the skinny on some results that came about from Impact, and he's talking about it on his website or whatever. Well, that's a small fry, but I would think that like every single major wrestling website that's out there, we don't need to name names. I mean, I'm sure you guys could probably name about maybe 10 off the break, or at least a bare minimum of 5. I just really think that TNA needs to put a noose around those guys and be like, if you want to have any type of business with us, if you really care about pro wrestling, do not release results. Let me know what you guys think about that. But that's just my honest take with regards to that. Once again, we're talking TNA Impact Wrestling. Do not hit me up on Twitter asking me something that's not TNA related. I just wanted to stress that. I've seen the last few times we've done Impact for you guys, I've gotten WWE questions, I've gotten ROH questions, I've gotten every single other type of wrestling question on Impact Showdown, which covers nothing but TNA. We're staying dedicated to TNA. Keep that talk, send it on our Facebook page or somewhere else. I'm not going to be acknowledging that. You've been warned. All right, so tonight's episode, and I actually fell asleep like right before the show came on. So I actually missed about the first 15 minutes of the show. So forgive me if I missed anything that might have been very critical right there. From what I'm kind of able to gather, it doesn't really look like I missed that much of anything. Seems like Kurt Angle had kicked off things as he's the new executive director. He's the new day-to-day operations manager, or what have you. And pretty much one of the first things that he did as the new sheriff in town, he reinstated Earl Hebner as senior referee, which proved to be a very positive thing later on in the night. And we'll definitely tell you the reason why in a bit. And I believe Bobby Roode came out. I believe Roode wanted to maybe follow up on what had went down last week. As remember, MVP had suspended him indefinitely, and we saw Bobby Roode make his shocking return to TNA last week and all that, or the week before. So Bobby Roode was spoiling for a fight, and Kurt Angle had made a match between Roode and Kenny King, street fight match. Let's talk about that street fight match. I'm just going to go out of order and just go with it as it's coming in my head here. That street fight match, I mean, it was a decent street fight. But the action didn't really, how can I put it? It was a street fight, but the match was short. So just marinate on that for a little bit. On the one hand, we got a street fight, but it was a short match. And here's why I'm saying this. The guys never entered the ring for the bell to start. So Rude, Kenny King, they're just going at it. They're just fighting all around the ring, outside, through the crowd section, all that silliness. And there was really no high spots. There was really nothing to go, ooh, damn. There was nothing of that magnitude. If anything, it was just kind of like, oh, just pretend you're there in attendance and you're checking out this event. You're checking out this particular match as it's happening right in front of your eyes, and they're bringing the action to you. You're like, hey, hun, look, it's Bobby Roode and Kenny King. Hey, they're coming this way. Get your camera, get your camera. It was basically kind of like they were showing off a little bit, But I liked it. I thought it was a nice little touch, especially considering where they were, as that was not New York. I can't recall where they were for that respective taping, but it was definitely a paying crowd. The attendance there, it looked pretty great. It was nice to see the various camera shots where these guys were fighting around and everything. It went off for like about maybe, I'd say 5, maybe 7 minutes. And then finally the action head got back in the ring. And once the bell finally rung, the match itself that officially started did not last that long. I mean, we're talking, if we're lucky, under 5 minutes, maybe even way lesser than that. We saw Bobby Roode hit his finisher. That was pretty much it. Bobby Roode had picked up the victory. I love the opening, however. The opening to Impact Wrestling I thought was pretty good, as we had saw the Wolves retain their tag team titles over DJ Z, Robbie E, Mike Knox, and The Freak. In case you all are not able to tell who that guy is, that is Rob Terry. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of that, but yeah, that's The Freak, Rob Terry. This little funk that Mike Knox and his Menage a Trois group are in, it seems like things haven't really been quite kicking and clicking since they came up the roster about what, maybe almost 2 months ago, it feels like. And we see Mike Knox, he's getting a sense of urgency as he was telling Rebby, man, we got a lot of work ahead of us. What are we going to do? As the man, that's, at least that's the way I'm kind of dubbing it. That's what I'm going to call this person. The man is really pressing Mike Knox to deliver on the money. And I'm sure, as you all probably know, maybe you don't care, or maybe you don't know, you didn't actually find out that there was a storyline here with Mike Knox and his family, but apparently there is this one main story arc that's going on where Mike Knox is trying to raise enough money to be able to send back home. I'm assuming so that the business can stay afloat, whatever respective business that they have. Because remember the vignettes that was leading up to Mike Knox and the menagerie basically popping up on Impact Wrestling. It was basically Mike Knox fresh after the collapse of Aces and Eights, and we see him going back home trying to find himself, his roots, all that good stuff. And he finds out what's been going on with the family business since he's been away. Basically, he neglected it, and the family business is in shambles. It's not doing too good financially, and it's just accumulating a lot of debt and all that. So he's trying to do what he can to raise money to help keep the business stay afloat and get it back to where it needs to be. You kind of can't help but wonder just what exactly is going to be happening right here with Mike Knox. I can't help but, now I will say this, because I really wasn't going to go in depth. I just wanted to give you guys quick results, and that's pretty much the end of it. You guys are getting prepared for the 4th of July, at least if you're over here in North America. I know I'm getting prepared, so I really wasn't trying to be on here that long, but it did kind of have me brainstorm a little bit what I've been seeing with this stable the past couple of weeks leading up to tonight. And I want to get you guys' take on this. Is it just me, or is the impression kind of given that at some point maybe Mike Knox is going to have a serious heart-to-heart talk with Rebby and say, you know what, maybe we kind of made a little bit of a mistake bringing in Crazy Steve and the Freak. Maybe we actually need to take this in a different direction. And when I say that, do you think maybe we might see some type of a scenario come about where Mike Knox and Rebby they try to go outside and find new help, and Crazy Steve, the Freak, maybe they find out about this. They aren't too keen on it, and then maybe we see some type of a feud maybe going on between the Freak, Crazy Steve, Mike Knox. You guys kind of picking up that same vibe? Post your comments, let me know. I tell you what, if Mike Knox is gonna go outside of the family, his little crew that he has right now, and try to get help elsewhere, I wonder if maybe a certain person by the name of Paradise might possibly be joining Mike Knox's new revitalized stable. I bring up Paradise, and you guys probably are like, who? Paradise, if you know your wrestling, he was seen weekly on Ohio Valley Wrestling TV, and we got some reports floating around. Just take it with a grain of salt, but just keep it in the back of your mind as you're hearing this, that Paradise has apparently signed a deal with TNA. Apparently, he's supposed to be used in some type of a production standpoint, but he does have that wrestling background as well. He was doing a lot of great work production value wise for OVW. So you kind of can't help but wonder, okay, well, if this is really the case, then because TNA would be getting two for the price of one, if you really think about it. They'd be getting somebody that has a great keen eye from that production value standpoint and all that, but then at the same time, this guy also wrestles. So just keep that in the back of your mind, because I'm thinking to myself, if I'm in TNA and I hear Paradise's background and all that, that might be actually a pretty good option for him in TNA. I don't know. Sign off. Let me know what you guys think about that. But once again, the Wolves have retained their tag titles. Also, we saw some hot lesbian action gone wrong. Yes, I said hot lesbian action, but it went so wrong. What I want to do right now, tease you guys with that. We want to take a brief ad break. So for those of you that's going to be checking out the recording of this, you're going to see an ad right about now. So just hang tight for a couple of seconds, and when we come on back, we'll continue to talk of tonight's fallout from TNA Impact Wrestling. You, my good friends, are checking out Impact Showdown, episode 108. We'll be right back. And we are back. All right, so we're continuing the talk of TNA Impact Wrestling. Host right here, Black Avenger Lee Sanders. If you're enjoying our recap and review so far, please go out of your way to give this piece a thumbs up. You can also share this a number of ways. Google Plus it, retweet it, Facebook it. One of the many ways you can spread the good word about our content. All right, so let's continue on. I teased you guys with some hot lesbian action that went like totally wrong. I gotta be honest. We saw Brittany come out wearing the good old red, white, and blue. You can never go wrong with that. Also, by the way, Rebby was wearing red, white, and blue. I couldn't help but kind of marinate myself and say, damn, who was rocking the red, white, and blue better, Rebby or Brittany? Well, they're both a tie. How about dinner for four? I'll let you guys marinate on that, but you all should be able to kind of catch that. Get it? Dinner for four, But in either case, we saw Brittany come out, and she took a microphone, called out Madison Rayne, wanted to have a heart-to-heart talk with her. Madison Rayne basically coming out, okay, yeah, what's up? Brittany basically sucking up to Madison, telling her, look, I idolize you. I just think you're so awesome, and I'm sorry for the way I've been kind of coming off recently. There's no malice to it, blah, 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 whatever. So Madison Rayne, she accepts the apology, and she's like, look, I can genuinely tell that you don't mean any harm, that you're just trying to do the right thing here. And honestly, I see that you have a bright future ahead of you. So, it's all good. I can forgive you for whatever had happened between us over the past several weeks. It's all good. So they went in for a hug, And you see Brittany raise Madison's arm, so you're kind of getting the impression that, okay, well, the way they kind of hugged, kind of, huh. And for me, I was waiting for like a hot lesbian action moment. I thought that maybe we were going to see a kiss between the two right there on national television. I was ready for it, man. I actually got closer to the TV. I was ready for this to go down, man. But no, instead, we see Brittany give Madison a clothesline and basically tell her something along the lines of, "This is what I get for idolizing my heroes." Some silly, lame ass line, and she just starts beating the crap out of Madison. And it's so funny because one person actually had the audacity to say this on Twitter. I wish I could give the person credit, but they said, "Oh wow, it looks like Brittany's getting a push," and it's like, sorry. Brittany's been getting a push since the moment she came up on the roster. Where you been? You know, it's like, where have you been? There is no such thing as a push with regards to Brittany. She been pushed, you know. But it looks like officially Brittany has gone the heel route. Very kind of odd. I'm not really sure how to really perceive this because on the one hand, it kind of seemed like we were going in the direction of a crazy Mickey James obsessed with Trish Stratus, big fan of Trish Stratus and all. That kind of seemed like on the one hand it was going in that direction, but now it, you know what? Let me back up a little bit. It kind of had that vibe, but then it kind of had a OVW vibe with Heidi Lovelace and Taylor Hendricks, but then it just kind of went in this direction that's just kind of like, ah, okay, so it was neither of those scenarios. This girl's just going heel now. So, look, I'm gonna just bite my tongue and I'm just gonna see how this plays out over the next several weeks. I will say this: watching Brittany tonight, for some odd reason, and maybe it's her choice of hair color, she just reminds me of Dixie Carter. I don't know if anybody else was kind of picking up that vibe, in particular tonight. But for some weird reason, every time I looked at her, she just kept reminding me of Dixie Carter. And for some weird reason, I wanted to see Dixie Carter in some nice hot rain gear. I don't know what the hell is up with that, but in either case, let's continue on. Second hour, and by the way, I should point this out. For the first hour, we basically only had two matches. So two matches filled up with a lot of backstage skits, a little bit of talking. Mainly it was the backstage skits that was pretty heavy in the first hour. We go to the third match of the night, which was a tables match between Ethan Carter III, Bully Ray. It was, I gotta be honest, I wasn't really that into it. I really wasn't. I thought it was a little bit flat. And I was actually saying to myself, man, I hope this picks up pretty soon because otherwise this is going to be a really flat match. I hope that TNA has something planned right here. Sure enough, towards the end, they had something planned big time. We saw Rockstar Spud try to interfere. Bully Ray was able to fight him off and everything. But then we see this big figure just slide in the ring. And it was none other than Rhino. And Rhino was about to spear the hell out of Rockstar Spud while Bully Ray was on the opposite side of the ring, coming to his feet and all that. And we actually saw Rhino just deliver a strong-ass gore to the ab area of Bully Ray, knocking him out, taking the wind out of him. And from there, we had actually saw Rockstar Spud, Rhino, Ethan Carter III. They basically teamed up, took out Bully Ray, put him through a table. Ethan Carter picking up the win. So once again, Ethan Carter III owning Bully Ray. Rhino, though, I mean, my God, you talk about out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? Because here's a guy right here. And for you guys that don't know Rhino, you're not familiar with him, shame on you, first of all. But it's all good, okay? We can forgive you guys, but we want you to get hipped to Rhino after this. Rhino is a former ECW champion, three-time WWF hardcore champion, one-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion while in the TNA promotion. He's done work all across the indie circuit. Most recently, he was doing some work with Ring of Honor. I would think that now, given the fact that he's popped up for TNA, only time will tell what's going to happen with the 38-year-old. But I can't help but kind of keep my fingers crossed and say I hope Rhino is back with TNA. I love the man. I think he's a very underrated performer. um, I still remember just how freaking popular he was, in particular when he was in the WWE. I still remember when he was teaming with Tajiri there. That was actually one of my favorite highlights when he teamed with Tajiri for a hot moment there. But that gives you a little bit of a backdrop on Rhino and all that. But we see Rhino come back, so now you kind of can't help but say to yourself, okay, so we got Rhino in the mix now. You would think that maybe Bully Ray is going to try to extract some type of revenge on Rhino, since these two, they do have history, goes way back a little bit before ECW, the original ECW. So I'm hoping that the next several weeks is going to be some good TV as far as the segments go for Bully Ray and Rhino. Let me know what you guys think about that. Where would you like to see that go? I'm very curious. Other than that, not really too much else to talk about. We saw Gunner, Sam Shaw, saw a little bit of a follow-up from everything that's just been happening over the past several weeks as the two of these men have been getting together closer and all that. Gunner had got the opportunity to be the guardian, if you will, of Samuel Shaw, as the psychiatrics felt that Samuel Shaw was mentally stable enough to be released from the Arkham Asylum. That's how I'm gonna keep dubbing it. I'm just gonna dub that Arkham Asylum from here on out. And the only catch was Gunner had to take care of him and all of that. So Gunner agreed, and one of the first things that Gunner did was take Samuel Shaw to the Impact Zone and approach Ken Anderson and said, "Look, this man, he's been through a lot. He's no different than my friend that fought alongside me in the war and all that. And I told you how he lost his limb, how he just wasn't right in the head, and how I had to help him and everything. My friend is no different than my friend Samuel Shaw here. Give him a chance for me." And Ken Anderson was like, "Okay, all right, for you. I'll give you a chance." Well, I think I know why you're here. Let's go do this. And so Ken Anderson had took them to go meet with Christy Hemme, where we had saw Christy Hemme a little bit on the fence about sharing the same space with Shaw. Shaw apologizing, admitting that what he was doing to her was wrong, and explained how he was dealing with some personal mental problems that was happening in his childhood and all that, and that he feels that he's been rehabilitated. So we think, this is one that's going to have to be continued. But honestly, I'm looking down the road a little bit right here. I'm just going to give you an early projection right here, and I'm doing a good job keeping track of time because we only got but so much else to talk about. Really, we only got about, according to my notes here, looks like we got about maybe two more matches to talk about, and then we're done for tonight. But just kind of looking into the crystal ball a little bit and offering thoughts on where this storyline is probably going to go. It may go in a direction where over the series of weeks, we may see Christy Hemme be in some type of a backstage segment, and maybe she might notice little things missing, maybe like a hairbrush, maybe lipstick, fingernail polish. You guys get it, okay? She's just going to be noticing little things missing over the course of several weeks or whatever. And something major that goes missing is probably going to just give her a red alert, and she's probably going to blame Sam Shaw for it. And Gunner's probably going to do everything he can to back up Shaw and say, look, it wasn't him. He didn't have anything to do with whatever was missing. Maybe it was another knockout or whatever. But I see something weird coming about where Samuel Shaw's obsession with Christy Hemme It's not going to be over like that overnight. I mean, come on. Just keeping up with the storyline for a minute. Continuity right here. That's what you got to focus on. If Samuel Shaw grew up with this nice, hot looking, rare haired woman that we saw from a few weeks back when Anderson had paid a visit to the house and everything, and conveniently her name was Christy and all that, I don't think that 2 months in the asylum is going to have you come out and go, "Praise Jesus, I'm cured." That's not how it happens, okay? So, I'm looking at Samuel Shaw's obsession with Christie to continue, but I think Samuel Shaw is just going to be stringing along Gunner. Hey, yeah, I'm taking my meds, man. I really appreciate you helping me, man. You're really getting me through the tough times, buddy. Oh, yeah. Something's going to go down where it's going to be revealed that Samuel Shaw is still a creepy bastard, and he's definitely going to turn on Gunner. I think we all can see this coming, right? But I think the story getting to that point is what's more interesting. Are you guys kind of picking up the same vibe that I'm getting now that I've laid that out? Post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. We saw a Knockouts Championship match between Gail Kim and Angelina Love. We saw Stifler, referee Stifler. Man, did he get some sweet talking leading up to this match from the beautiful people. They were like, hey, look, what's up with you refereeing our match? And Stifler was like, look, I talked to the old man now that he's been reinstated, and he actually gave me the green light. I can actually call y'all's match. And the beautiful people, they loved that, and they say, look, honestly, it should be you that should be the head referee. And I just couldn't help but home in on that. It's like Stifler, head referee. I just thought the two was just funny. But no, so it looked as though Stifler, once again, was going to be involved in a knockouts match that was going to benefit the beautiful people. But wait. Right before Stifler had went out, we saw Kurt Angle approach him and say, you're no longer going to be calling that match. I want it called right down the middle. I want it to be fair. Brian, you go in. So Brian Hebner had actually went in there and called the match. One point we actually saw Brian eject Velvet Sky from the match as he got a little fed up with her little distractions and shenanigans going down. So it actually ended up being Gail Kim and Angelina Love going at it. At one point, we actually saw the Botox injection implied. It actually had sent Gail Kim rolling out of the ring. Rather than Angelina Love accepting a count out and retain the championship that way, she was feeling oh so confident, and I actually went out the ring, grabbed Gail, put her back in there, tried to go for the cover, only got a 2 count. Then shortly afterwards, we would see from out of nowhere Gail Kim deliver the eat the feet as Angelina tried to pick her up and everything. And folks, I can't believe I'm saying this. I was actually kind of shocked that this went down, but I'm very happy to say we have a new Knockouts champion, Gail Kim, and she is the Knockouts champion for a 4th time. Yes, for a 4th time. I actually did a little bit of homework for you guys. Some of you that may not know about the history of the Knockouts Championship, you might find these little feats or facts very interesting. The title was first created in 2007. Here's another RCWR show fact, even though this isn't the RCWR show fact, or the RCWR show. I guess we can just say this is Impact Showdown. How about an Impact Showdown fact, all right? Impact fact. Something else, other than the title first being created in 2007, can you take a wild guess without cheating as far as how many Knockouts champions we've seen since 2007? Just throw a number out there, all right? Any number. You can post it down below, and we'll come back. I'll give you the answer towards the end of the show. But while we're slowly going to be approaching that, one thing that I can tell you guys is the way it looks right now, Angelina Love still holds the record for the most knockout championships won. She holds 6. Care to know how the rest did? Want to hear it? Here it go. Tara, aka the beautiful and the lovely Victoria. You guys remember Tara? She has 5. Tied with Tara is Madison Rain. ODB 4. So that's a very interesting tale right there when you hear that. All right, next up, we had the main event match, which was Bobby Lashley taking on Eric Young. This was for the TNA Championship. This was the rematch. And we saw Bobby Roode. He was at ringside. He was trying to give that morale support to EY, make sure nothing weird was going to be going down, making sure that there was no interference coming about from Kenny King or MVP, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, MVP, yeah, he was at ringside for the match and everything. Kind of weird, too, when I think about that, because we saw Kurt Angle come out during the Bobby Roode, Kenny King match, right? But like MVP tried to walk alongside Kenny King to ringside, but Kurt Angle came out and ejected MVP. So I thought it was kind of weird that Kurt Angle didn't do the same thing again here in the main event match. I just consistency here. That's my whole issue right here. But other than that, great match. Great match. I was looking at this. There was a couple of points here in this match where I said, please don't give the title back to Eric Young. I love Eric Young. Great guy. Warm, bubbly personality. I hear nothing but good things about the man, but I just was not trying to see him get the championship back. And it did not happen that way, folks, luckily. We actually saw Bobby Lashley. I mean, he did a serious number on Eric Young. I mean, go Bobby! He destroyed the hell out of Eric Young. It was a good rematch. I would have to say it was a great rematch. You know, when I think about it in retrospect, though, just processing that main event match in my head, it's really looking as though the seeds are being planted for a Bobby Roode, Bobby Lashley match. Because just really home in on that for a minute. Now that Eric Young has been defeated, he's gotten his rematch. That's it. He now has to technically go back to the end of the line, and he's got to start from scratch. Which we should note, next week's Impact Wrestling is going to be an interesting one. Even though that bad boy has already been probably taped, it's still going to be a pretty good one. As check it out, we're going to see Austin Aries take on Sonata for the X Division Championship. And then also, every single championship is going to be on the line per Kurt Angle, with the exception of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, as there is going to be a special Battle Royal match to determine a new number 1 contender to take on Bobby Lashley for the championship. So, you hear that, I don't know, man. I'm kind of looking at a guy like maybe Bobby Lashley, maybe taking on Bobby Roode, or maybe not so fast. Maybe it could actually be Samoa Joe. Who would you guys like to see step up next and take on Bobby Lashley for the title? Bobby! If you guys don't get that, it's a WWE reference. It has to do with Donald Trump. You guys that know your wrestling and you get that, I'm sure you guys remember that very vividly. Bobby! But, yeah, good stuff right there. Overall tonight, I would have to say that tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling, the episode I watched last week, and keep in mind that was like the first episode I saw in like almost 2 weeks, I really, really enjoyed that episode. Just the way they hooked everything up from a production standpoint, it just felt really kick-ass. This episode, I didn't feel as much magic. I can't really put my finger on it, but maybe you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But this one, for me, the first half, I wasn't feeling. Just too many little backstage skits, not enough wrestling. I mean, that's what you have for one whole hour is 2 matches? I mean, we've seen the WWE, at least with Raw, during the course of a 3 hour event, we've seen them probably do at least what, guys, maybe 3 to 4 matches they get out the way in the first hour, just about maybe. I could be a little bit off right there, but I just felt that was just way too much stuff that was going on. I just can't help but kind of feel for the crowd that was there for that taping, because it's like, okay, we got to look at the Titantron. Okay, what's next? Okay, somebody else is going to come out and kind of talk a little bit. Okay, now we got to see another backstage segment on the Titantron. So it's like they had to almost spend half their time looking at the Titantron and then, check out the in-ring action. I don't know, it just kind of felt a little bit off. It was still a decent episode, though. I'm not bashing it now. I still felt it was a rather decent episode. Let's get to you guys' comments and let's see what you all have to say. By the way, with regards to that little trivia question that I had asked you guys earlier, I believe I had asked you all if you all were aware of how many champions we've had for that Knockouts Championship since the title had first came into fruition back in 2007. If you guessed 36, you are correct. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Let's get to you guys' comments now, and let's see what you guys had to say about the episode here. War Gamer, glad to see you back, Lee. Thought you gave up on TNA. No, I did not. Hey, Lee. Talking about continuity and TNA, they don't mix so well. Yeah, I know, right? Reggie, Bully Ray sold the hell out of that gore. He did, man. That was one sweet ass gore. I love the hell out of that move, man. 5 champions, I believe. More than 5. MK, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Let's follow that up. Did you feel like the main event was rushed? It was only 10 minutes long for the most important title they have. Yes, I agree. And I actually think maybe that might be part of the main reason why I kind of felt this episode was a little off. I mean, there was just so much more with the episode I saw last week that was really like, wow, this is pretty good, and this wasn't a New York show, and it was pretty good. Yeah, I do feel that for the most important title, yeah, I totally agree with you, man, because if I'm not mistaken, I think we saw the intros for each participant like at about, what, 10:40 or something like that. Then they took a commercial break. Then we came on back. So, yeah, there was about maybe 10 to 15 minutes left. Yeah, I think a little bit more storytelling should have gone down for that main event match. It definitely kind of felt a little bit rushed. But see, here's the other thing that you got to recall, King, is the fact that these guys, a lot of these guys that you saw on this respected episode, had to do double duty. They also did another episode. I don't know if you guys had recognized the folks that was in the crowd. I mean, for me, what really gave it away was there was an old lady with glasses next to a young girl, and they were like taking pictures here and there throughout the night. They had some really great seats. They really stood out to me the most, in particular because of the old lady, because I couldn't help but say, what's that 70-year-old lady doing there at a wrestling event? Who's she, though? Yeah, that was my whole thing. And so you got to keep that in the back of your mind that a lot of these guys, they're doing double duty because TNA Wrestling, they're trying to save money and they're filming things twice or whatever, So, yeah. Are you going to be watching Global Impact? Yeah, that one night only event that's going to be coming on. I'll probably check it out, and if anything, I'll probably talk about it maybe next Tuesday night when we come back from our 4th of July little mini break. James Rhino, what a return. Love him being back before the New York shows. Impact Wrestling is picking up, and hopefully Dixie Carter isn't coming back. Unfortunately, she is going to be coming back, but you're going to be loving what happens with the Dixie Carter character. I can tell you that. I have a vision with Rhino, Ethan Carter III versus Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer in a best out of 5 of their choosing of tag teams. Schoolie Rules has a very Interesting question, I think. Is Impact worth watching? It depends. It depends. If you really want to get my take right now, I would have to say that it is worth checking out right now, in particular for the New York tapings. I've been hearing a lot of good things about those New York shows, man, and it's worth dealing with right now until you see how this whole New York thing comes about. Eric, I fully agree. I hate dodging spoilers all over the internet. I know sadly it is just the times, but I truly hate it and tend to put people who spill out too many spoilers on ignore block list fast. Eric, great minds think alike, man. I am with you on that 100%, my friend. And let's take to Twitter now, see if you guys got anything interesting to say right here. Ba, 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 ba. Already answered that question. So, and as a matter of fact, somebody had a question about spoilers and all that. I went in depth on TNA spoilers, I believe, not this past Tuesday night, but the last Tuesday on our radio edition of the RCWR show. You can actually check out the links in the episode description below. All right. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to bring to you guys' attention, TNA related wise, while I'm thinking about it. No, I think that's it. We went 10 minutes in the overtime, but that's all right. The show's still pretty short. That's good. All right, so quick programming note. We aren't doing a weekend edition of the RCWR show this Saturday due to the 4th of July holiday. I know a lot of you guys are probably going to be getting your grub on. You're going to be hitting the beaches and all that. I'm definitely going to be kicking back, relaxing myself. Our next show actually will not be until Monday night, July 7th, and we'll actually be covering Fallout from WWE Raw. Join me and my new broadcast partner, Titus Machiavelli. And by the way, thank you all so much for the great feedback you've been giving us, in particular, not just for our Money in the Bank post show that me and Titus did, but you all really stepped up and had nothing but great things to say as far as what we did this past Monday night. I see a lot of you all had enjoyed the chemistry that me and Titus have, and definitely show your love and hit him up on his website at titusmachiavelli.com. And if you need help spelling that, just do a Bing or Google search. Or if you have a little bit of patience, you can actually just come back in like about, I would say, maybe 15 minutes, because usually it takes about 15 minutes for the video to process here anyway. And I'll actually have the link where you can go. He actually wants to know what you guys thought of his work so far. So definitely go out of your way. And the voting is very easy. There's no pop-ups, no silly crap like that. You just go to his website. It's on his homepage. You can scroll, boom, put in your vote, and that's pretty much it, man. Good stuff right there. But yeah, a lot of you guys had gave us some really great praise. I appreciate the love and support, and it's nice to have a fun broadcast partner at that, and somebody that just, like, honestly, it feels like me and him have been doing it for some years now. That's just, I'm amazed at our chemistry, and I can only imagine it's going to get even better. And then one other thing I want to bring to you guys' attention, I don't really say it enough on YouTube, but I'm going to start, which is, I see that for those of you that follow us and you check us out on the downloads and all that, our radio show, I see that some of you guys have been very kind on submitting reviews for us on Stitcher. And I can't stress it enough. We really would appreciate you guys' help. That's been supporting us all this time and all that. Go out of your way and submit a review for us on Stitcher. You can give us a rating, and you can write a review. You can keep it short and sweet. You don't have to do like a 125-page essay thingamajigga. Just, keep it short and brief or whatever. But there's a couple of reasons why. One, it lets us know who's checking out our content. Number two, you're showing the ultimate act of kindness by leaving a rating/review. And then number three, you're making our content more findable for other people to check out. So, and the best part about it, it's free. It only takes about maybe 2 minutes of your time. So do go out of your way please leave a review and rating. And, if anything, hit us up on Twitter or Facebook. All the links are in the episode description. Let us know if you write a review, leave a rating. That way, the next time we're on air, we can give you guys a shout out. One more time, speaking of shout outs, this episode was sponsored in part by our good friends over at Zero One Pro Wrestling. Where once again, I can't stress it enough, if you have great aspirations of making it into the wrestling industry, whether as a wrestler, a manager, a valet, you're going to need some proper training. And proper training is good because you want to make sure you're doing everything right the first time. So hit up my good friends over at Zero One Pro Wrestling on Facebook at facebook.com/the Pro Wrestling School. Make sure you let them know Lee Sanders of the RCWR Show had sent you. One more time, that is Zero One Pro Wrestling on facebook.com/the Pro Wrestling School. All right, boys and girls, that's it. We are on a well-deserved vacation for now. We'll see you again Monday night, July 7th at 11:15 p.m. Eastern, or immediately after WWE Raw goes off the air. One more time, if you like this, thumbs up, Google+, Facebook it, retweet it, all right? And if you're new, I definitely want you to subscribe to us so you never miss out on all the great content we do for you guys here on a weekly basis. That's going to do it. Be safe, be kind to one another, drink responsibly, take care.